Hello and welcome to our Theater of Pain 13 clearing and timing. As I spoke to you all before, now with the past changes that have happened in the last patch, I feel that everyone can pretty much get 3k. So I wanted to go through and talk to everyone and show them how we ended up doing this clearing and killing to make sure that you can also get 3k so you can achieve that. So thank you so much. Welcome to our Theater of Pain 13. So we're gonna go into this pretty strong and pretty quick. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So we're grabbing this first 4-pack group like most people end up doing. Some people shroud past it, some people will try to stealth or invis pot. We didn't. We just went right for it. We figured why the heck not. We have a lot of AoE DPS. So we'll talk about that. But first of all, make sure you trank shot or de-enrage as many people as possible. That's what I'm doing also. And what we got right now is we have a Havoc Demon Hunter, a Survival Hunter, a Marksman Hunter, and we have a Resto Druid and a Prop Alley, and we're going to kind of go for it. Now, we have a lot of AoE damage, and we're kind of just going for it. We lust on this boss, not the ads in front of it, and we're just going AoE crazy. The 3 is kind of like a perfect scenario for me, being a Marksman Hunter, because I can usually proc off all of them. Thankfully, the others are, they're good because they can get that melee stuff in pretty well. Now, we're going to end up DPSing them down as best as we can. I try to make sure that I am close to the group at all times because I am mostly the only ranged other than the healer, but the healer stays pretty much on top of the group the whole entire time. We're going to end up kiting around the room in a clockworks motion, but then we ended up changing. I don't remember why. But we end up making sure we're always interrupting that other guy while we're going through that. Now, as always, we are going at 150 speed as we're dealing with these ads. If you're thinking everything's a little faster, it's a little easier for everybody to watch. It shaves off about 10 minutes. So anyway, we're going to go in, we're going to DPS this boss down, and we're going to continue to kite while we're dealing with all of that. And we only have, the 2 guys left now, because it's pretty easy to deal with them. The healer is just doing an easy 2 mil, which is pretty solid for how they operate right now. And we're gonna end up trying to take out the guy that does the smash and all that second, and then we end up getting rid of the third. Now we're gonna go end up waiting here until we get sent down. And we're going to get pulled down, and we're going to have to deal with, I think the next thing we go after is Gore Chop. We go down Gore Chop lane, I'm pretty sure. Let me see where we're going. We are not. We are going to Kulog or whatever his name is. So we're going to end up doing that. So we're going to pull this whole entire hallway, every single ghost, while that's happening. And we're going to pull that Guardian. So we're going to pull all of that. We're going to AoE it down, and we're going to deal with that together, which is actually a very easy pull. People using defensives to deal with the Guardian's damage, and then the regular healing coming off of, the healing circle, healing everything going on with the ground. We're going to continue to DPS there down, and after that, we're going to take this ball. I'm pretty sure he goes left side. We're going to go left. Now, we're going to DPS the Soul Binder. That's the only one you really have to worry about here. The Souls are actually pretty easy to deal with. The Soul Binder is the only one you really need to worry about, but he's got such a little amount of health and very easily interruptible. Is there only one? That's why most people go left, and then we're going to go down. Now, something people don't realize is that you can trank shot or purge the Bone Magus. When that ends up happening, you end up losing that shield, and you can end up killing them so quickly. The Bone Maguses their bone spears will one-shot people. You need to interrupt those. The volleys are also needed to be interrupted. We're also pulling this side pack here. Like I said, that's a same pull that we just did up top. Super easy to deal with while we're dealing with the Guardian. End up using defensive to get through that. Burning that guy down. Easy enough. And now we're going to go right side. And as you can see here, we have 2 bone maguses. So I wait and I watch. I watch Sky wait until he took one or I took the other, and then we end up, burning down the other, making sure the interrupts keep working, and we're going to go from there. The bone weaver is not that bad an ad if you are ranged. It's a little annoying if you're melee, but this way you can stay out of the way and you can end up dealing with whatever you need to deal with. So it's kind of perfect in that scenario. Now, we're going to end up burning those bone maguses still. And then we're going to go after the bone weaver, single targeting him. And we're going to take them down. I'm trying to make sure I don't pull something from behind, even though it's the other side. Get that guy down, and we go through the portals. Now, I stupidly went through early, but I had the ability to feign death. Now, in Shadowlands, when we originally were playing this, you could go through those portals and that would clean your debuffs. It doesn't do that anymore. You have your Dark Speaker here. Make sure you watch out for the frontal. They also put that curse on you. So thankfully we got that druid that can remove it. So we're just making sure we sidestep those death winds, and we're going to proceed to go through. Now, these guys are pretty easy to deal with as long as you're interrupting and sidestepping. And now we're going to go for the next part. Make sure you hit that bubble just in case you die. You go right there instead of having to run through the whole thing. And now we mark that X because that's where we're going to do our collapse. So we're going to continue to DPS. We're going to watch out for the death spirals. We're going to try to interrupt as many necrotic bolts as possible. Those are the wells that are going on other people. Necrotic entropy, which is the frontal on the tank. We end up collapsing. Now, the thing is that we have a lot of ads here. So I pretty much tried to make sure I'm always taking the ads and putting them together. And I know that Sky and Zap's DPS is so high for AoE. And I only really have a good AoE if I end up having, the ability to drop my my volley. And for that time, I did not. So I ended up making sure I used it because I like to be able to burn as much as I can. I should have used it on these guys and not the other ones. So we had a similar situation to the last time, so I tried to knock them all together. AoEing them down, had an explosive aim shot there. The frontal on the tank. And we're going to continue to DPS with aim shots and going back and forth. Now I was told to lust, so we end up lusting. And we're going to continue to do whatever damage we can end up doing here to get this boss gone. We're dodging balls too, because it's way easier to deal with. Now this time I end up making sure I use my volley properly, and you can see that these guys just melted. And now I get my distance, so I'm not getting in the way of anyone. You got to be really careful in the frontal and the tanks because people die to that frontal all the time. It just makes me chuckle a little bit. And then we end up taking this guy down. We're going to end up kind of just flipping over. And now we are going to Gore Chop. So we're going with Gore Chop Lane now. Now, the first pull here, the Withering, I think the Withering Disease or Withering Discharge, I'm sorry. Those are the ones you need to make sure you're interrupting because those will kill you. So you have to be really careful on those Withering Discharges, making sure you're interrupting them, dealing with those guys properly, doing whatever you can end up doing to kill those guys with aim shots, frontals, all that jazz. So we end up making sure we have all that stuff completed. And then we're going to pull this small group and we're going to end up trying to keep them together. We took down most of the ads there. Now we have just the 2 other ones left. Thankfully, our healer also has an interrupt, which is definitely helpful to all of us. We're going to go through all of that. And then that one is down. So we're going to follow forward. And now we have to keep an eye on which side to go. So I'm just following the tank at this point because I'm trusting their judgment. It's Risen, so we're used to playing with them, so we know what's going on. So we're going to AoE this group solo, which is pretty much a standard DPS pull. Just trying to go for this. We're going to continue to go through that. And hopefully with some luck, we end up not having any problems. We end up dealing with the big guy, trying to take care of those horrors. And now we got all the ads that pop up. I try to binding on them, but they all just jump on me and kill me, like instantly. I wait for the res because I didn't want to release right away because I didn't know if it was going to be shorter or longer to run back. So now we're running forward. I'm trying to just play catch up at this point. Now, that was 15 seconds off our timer. I've pretty much been the only death of this group so far, which is annoying. So I'm trying to watch here to see what side I can grab because they're underneath me. As you can see, I wish I could just jump down below, but I couldn't. I would have done it. I would have tried to jump down there 100%. But anyway, so we run back. Still got 17 minutes on the timer. It's a lot of time left on the timer. So that's really, really good. And they still have the two left. They still have the butcher dude and the horror, which is the guys in front of the boss. Usually those are pulled when the other pack is almost dead. We end up pulling those guys, and then we pull the boss. Now, the thing with me for using my volley, I try to wait until all the ads are there, or most of them, and go through there. Also, if you've noticed, you can't turtle going through those. I thought I could immune it. Apparently, you can't immune it. So now you're going to end up doing this. Keeping an eye on everything. We're going to continue to just DPS the boss. Gore Chop is kind of like a little dance. You never want to stand in front of the tank because if he does his tenderizing smash, he will hit you with the frontal. So you really want to make sure you're not there for that. The meat hooks, or I'm sorry, the hateful strike is what's gonna hit you. The tenderizing smash is the circle. Use the circle. You can be close enough to it so that you don't get pulled in, and then you can move and navigate a lot faster. It's just the little things that'll make you get through it a little easier. So end up dealing with that. Move, and go. This boss is not friendly to myself, being a range that I am. It is very helpful to the others in the group, which is great. So we end up trying to make sure we are avoiding those hooks still. We're going to end up AoEing here. And the nice part about the three groups is that 3 is the perfect number for me to be able to multiple hit people. So there's another volley. Get some big explosions off. We're going to go through all of that. And we're going to end up pulling here. And Gore Chop is going to die. As you can see, our Lust is just coming off cooldown now. We have like a minute left. So it gives you everybody enough time to kind of deal with what you're dealing with. And the last side is going to be the fallen construct guy. So we're going to end up pulling these conscripts and the arborists, however you want to pronounce them. You want to make sure you are DPSing those guys accordingly. You want to stack as a group with this whirlwind guy. If you get the whirlwind option of the guy, you want to stack and move together because that ends up putting all of these spinning circles in better places. So it's easier for everyone to move, to kite, and to deal with that easier. We are going to try to bypass one of these guys at the end, and that is why we pulled that extra pack in the first area. So we're going to end up DPSing this guy. Gets a little deadly because we do have the Whirling Blades, and it's not an ideal place to be sitting where I am right now, but it was really the only place I could be. And we're going to end up using, we're going to end up DPSing this boss. Now, you can use essentially the same technique for all of the 3 of these guys if you're looking to bypass them. But I will say that the last one is definitely the easiest to bypass. And you'll see what we end up doing. You can use the line of sighting to make sure that some of these jumps and some of the abilities are not going to cause problems on you. And watch out for the Thirsty Gorge. And now we pulled all the extra ads with that guy. It's not an ideal situation, but at the same time, we have, like I said, a lot of AoE damage. So I don't see why this wouldn't be too much of a problem. So we're ending up just being able to burn the heck out of them. I like it because I'm able to just deal with all of that stuff. I ended up getting hit with the jumping frontal, even though I thought that it only did damage on the land. So I don't know why I died there. So now we're going after the next pack. Or I should say the same pack. We're going to end up killing that one. And now if you look, we're going to end up putting a marker there. So everyone stacks there. Countdown timer. Burst of speed and get past. That way you don't have to deal with that last boss, which is probably what's going to be causing you to lose a lot of time. This way we have 8 minutes right now to deal with this guy and the last boss. So we're making sure we're taking care of the oppressive banners because those are going to slow us. The crashes, we're just making sure we're getting out of. For the stuns, for the blood and glory, which is the 2 people fighting, we pretty much just do whatever and just have one person kill the other one so we get back as fast as possible to kill that banner to make sure no one has a problem. When it comes down to the frontals and the cleaves and all that stuff coming from this guy right now, you just dodge, try to make sure you don't do crazy amounts of damage. He is going to be doing a striking attack, that brutal combo. If you are a tank, you want to make sure you're using a defensive on that so that you can kind of make it through. Here's that 3-hit combo that he ends up doing. And we're just going to end up kiting that whole time. Here's another stun. I try to let Sky kill me, but it takes him a lot longer than I expected. Get kicked back. Banner was killed. He's already at 40%. We ended up using the lusts before on, I think, that first large pack, just to make sure it's getting back on cooldown. So if we needed it again, we could. So now the oppressive banner. Get that down. Now we're going after the cleaves. And then we're going to take those out. And I get stunned again with Sky, which is crazy. But at least now Zaf can just go crazy and do whatever she needs to do. Now, I don't have any cooldowns whatsoever. Sky doesn't have any more. So we were just waiting for, the end, so to speak. So now it's at 3%, 2%, 1%, and dead. So right now we have 5 minutes and 30 seconds of RP. So we have 4.5 minutes to complete the rest of this fight right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to end up hopping up on the teleporter, get that RP playing. As you can see, 20 seconds. And we're going to have about 4 minutes to end up killing this boss. Now, Zaf pulls out a thing. That's funny. I didn't even see that last time. I didn't even think about it. As you can see, we're going to start here. We're going to pull into this part right here. I'm going to hold my volley and my cooldowns. And I'm doing that because I want to use that when we end up having the ads that are going to pop up. So we end up keeping an eye on that. The nice thing about having a paladin after this, here's the pull, that reaping scythe, make sure you want to use a defensive if you are a tank on every single one. This, like, people, I can't even tell you how much this gets burnt. Risen actually got hit by the frontal there. I can't believe he lived. I'm going to burn my cooldowns down. We're going to do as much damage as we can. We got another pull happening. And frontal. As you can see, we're always standing on their backside of the boss. This is going to cause the ads to pop up. Try to bounce everybody together or interrupt in some way, shape, or form. Here's the echoes of battles. The echoes of battles and everything when after the shift at 50% is going to deal more damage. We're going to have charges. Keep an eye on the charges. Watch that frontal because it will knock you like it did with Sky. You can't move towards the edge of the ring or you will get knocked into the middle. That will hurt you and it might screw up everything. So you want to be very careful there. Here we go. We have more ads to deal with. And then we got to watch out for those dudes that run back and forth. Another echo of battles. As you can see, we're trying to just stay together and just move together in a pack. We just used the last lust right there. We got a minute left and we got 10 seconds. So we're just going to make sure we continue to DPS here. Trying to not make any silly mistakes. We don't want any deaths right now. Any deaths right now would have been dungeon dead. I hope you enjoyed the Theater of Pain 13 video. Now, as always, if you're looking to support the channel, please make sure you hit that follow, subscribe, join, whatever you want button here on YouTube. We are on YouTube and Twitch every single Monday through Friday. And as always, make sure you kind of check us out here and all the videos on YouTube. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much.